Well, hey, it's Nichivo. I just want to make another fast video for those that people can fly. Square Enix. Guys, goddamn, I really want this game to succeed, but alright. So, some of the things I'd really like to see fixed. These are extremely annoying. Let me start by saying that we really don't have enough storage. I'd like to see quite a bit more storage, maybe a way to favorite gear so you can swap between a couple different sets without having to play hunt for the gear piece. I wouldn't mind having 8 character slots so I could have 2 of each. Currently this is what I'm running, and this is my mule character, because you gotta have somebody for some storage. I've actually remade that character. This is the 4th one now. I named him Francis because talking mule. But there are so many bugs in the game, so many, and there are progression bugs in the game, even with things like accolades. Excuse me. I'm going to show you some of them firsthand, just so you understand what I'm saying. So, right off the bat, I'm going to log into Francis. Because this will be probably, unless it bugs on me, which it could, this will be an easy way to show you before and after of a bug and describe what it is, so you get an idea of what's going on. So if we go ahead and go into the accolades on Francis. Alright, go to our journal. Now, as you can see, it's complete, right? Absolutely 100% completed. This, right here, Sibylla May Flores, number 8 on your ECA. That specific one comes from doing the prologue. Okay? Are you with me? As far as I know, there's no way to go back and do the prologue. So if you skip the prologue, you'll permanently be missing that. Really what we need is for our characters, no matter how many we have, to kind of sync up their information and just keep it all together. The worst part about it is, even if you have done the prologue with a character, this can go away, and then you just can't get it back. Are you following me? Which, as a completionist, would just drive you absolutely crazy. Crazy. We look at my accolades. Of course, I've got all of those done. There's one specifically. Which one's it under? It's under progression. Challenge tier 15. Unlock challenge tier 15 in expeditions. I've done it on multiple characters now. Sure have. I have done that on multiple characters. And as you can see, it's not locked. And you're going to say, well, that's just because you're on this character. No, it's not. Let's go ahead and switch real quick. Turn to the lobby. I can't get it to re-pop either. It's not the only accolade I've had bug on me. Actually, we're gonna do this on the techno because I wanted to bring in some points about some of the gear. I mean, heck, look at my pretty little birdie on my truck back there. pretty much tells you that that accolade should be popped. All right, so, and yes, with between the demo and the game, I've got well over 750 hours, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm still missing a gun. Your drop rates, considering the randomness of the stats and everything else, are really bad. Legendary items, I really don't think they should drop at less than 90k anyway. 90k to 99.4 is still a large amount of leeway to be looking for the ideal rolls. So we go back into our stuff. And, hey look, let's check out our journal real quick on this guy who also did the prologue. Okay, now it's showing up. Yesterday, this was not showing up here. Maybe just logging into my other character has made it sync up. I don't know. This will go away. I should have kept video from it yesterday when it wasn't there. Maybe, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it's just from logging into the other character first. Okay, anyway, we'll go to accolades. Yep, maybe that'll help you identify the bug. Challenge tier 15. Oh, look. Still not unlocked. Well, maybe that just means that you're supposed to gold each one on challenge tier 15. Maybe that's what it is. No, that can't possibly be what it is because, well, let's just go ahead and look at the times. Tier 15 on every single one of them. Gold. Yet I cannot progress that because it reset itself. The other things that have been resetting themselves, these old journal entries, I never know what those are going to say. I literally have found the journals on every single one of my characters except for the mule. And sometimes I'll log into that first starter area, and instead of it saying 11 of 11, it'll say like 7 of 11. I never know what it's going to say. The numbers change constantly. Gear sets. 3-piece Borealis, you never know if it's going to work or if it's not going to work. Or, if even worse, it's going to decrease your damage, which I've also seen it do. 3 pieces of Plague, the stacking defense from 3 pieces of Plague, you never know if that's going to work either. I mean, I haven't checked every single set in the game, so I don't really know for sure, but are there other sets that just aren't working? Could be. It's a possibility. I would think that those should be like fixed ASAP. There's still things that are able to be stacked that shouldn't be able to be stacked. There's some mods that either don't work or double dip that should be fixed. What was it I was about ready to show? Oh, okay. Yeah, we got damage mitigation bug. We don't know if this is the part of the damage mitigation bug or not. Okay, this is a level 50 weapon. I mean, I guess I could pull another Torment and Agony out and use that. And this doesn't... You never know what's going to happen when you do this. But technically, this shouldn't affect the health at all, switching from this to this. See? That's correct. But where'd all my health go? What? Wait, what just happened? I just went back to where I started from and my health has vanished. Let's do it again. Oh, now I'm back to where it was. I literally never know what my stats on this character are going to be. I've seen 3 different versions of stats just between flipping between these 2 guns. Okay, and now it's just not going to do it. I've had buffs pop up. I actually have a defensive mod on this set. Most of the time I don't wear this set. But I've had buffs pop up. Like when I was wearing my other set just the other day, I had a buff pop up that looked like the diffuse buff. And it wasn't on my gear. So there's that. And you know what? I'm not entirely positive. It said it was giving that buff to other people. I'm not entirely positive that that states it does that. I'm pretty sure I've got that mod somewhere. Let's look. I'm not even sure what the diffuse mod looks like, to tell you the truth. Diffuse. Sprinting increases your armor and resistance by 50. Okay, so I'm assuming that it was the resistance. Isn't there a... There's a... Oh, I thought maybe there was a thing that would show the... icons, and I would be able to identify it from that. Maybe not. So anyway, I've had accolades reset themselves. I know for a fact that there's a few gear sets that don't work, or work in reverse, or just are completely flaky. Not having a way to talk to people in a co-op game just doesn't work. Period. End of story. Matchmaking is absolutely horrid because most of the time you just end up standing around while people are AFK. What else should I mention? The tracking does not work in many areas. Specifically, there's a couple of the hunts. Well, I can't get that hunt at the moment, so I won't be able to show it to you. But I can take you to one specifically that I know for a fact is busted. I believe it is Ancient Ruins. And this is 100% repeatable. It will always do this. So you can try it out for yourself. I can't do it because I think I need to turn in my hunt still. Oop, wrong place, must be the gate. Yeah, it must be the gate. My bad. I didn't plan anything out. Just gonna go over some things. I guess it could be the forest. No, I don't think it is. Might be the stronghold. No, it's this one. It says, yeah, it's this one. It's the gate. Alright. So if we run over here and we decide that we want to do this particular hunt right here, and then we hit the tracker on it, it's going to tell us that that hunt is this way, and it's not, because if you go this way, you wind up getting to the bounty, which is right there, and then the bounty's over there, and there's nothing up here. That hunt, instead of the tracker telling us to go all the way out of our way, that tracker should tell you to go right up here. I mean, you can literally see the entrance to that hunt. But most people, like, depending on their computer and whatnot, will not notice the glow on that door. And a lot of times the paw print that shows that it's a hunt doesn't show up. So people all the time, there's many zones where these tracking features just don't work or tell you to go where you're supposed to go, and people are getting lost. The other thing is that a lot of times when you transition from a zone to a zone, it will constantly try and reset your quest tracking rather than staying on what you were currently tracking, and it's aggravating, to say the least. World tiers versus CTs. Alright, let's go ahead and knock that out of the way. World tiers go up to 15. CTs go up to 15. World tier gear at World tier 15 drops level 42 loot. CTs, expeditions, at 15 drops level 50 loot. But if you decide you want to go back and do hunts or bounties, it's actually kind of stacked against you in two different ways. One, the loot's only going to be level 42, so you're going to have to level it up. Two, depending on how good your build is, the downscaling is still such that you're either going to have to take off a few pieces of your gear to do it. It's just weird. Sometimes, and sometimes it can be just one piece of gear. I don't know what's going on in the downscaling in this game. Sometimes you can go do a World Tier 15 in level 50 gear and feel like a freaking god, and other times you'll walk into the exact same one in the exact same gear and get hammered. Like, literally no possible way you can negate the damage at all. Another thing is weapon leech on Technomancer. Our inherent weapon leech that we get as a Technomancer if we don't spend points in the trees to boost it. Sometimes it just quits working. It doesn't work. It literally doesn't always work anymore. I've been having that for about a week now, where it's like, wow, like I literally can't regenerate any health unless I throw down a turret and use skill leech. And that's just, I don't know if you guys just changed something on the back end, or it maybe has something to do with well, no, because I've had it happen in expeditions too. I was going to say maybe it just has something to do with the downscaling. But it's terribly inconsistent. I'm not... Has anyone actually tried to run anything in a full legendary setup over there? Just asking. Because some of the choices on that gear for certain stats isn't ideal or even remotely close. That should probably be... I don't know why people haven't pointed that out. No, maybe they have. Ooh. What else should I mention? So yeah, so there's no incentive to go back and play. There's no incentive to go back and play parts of the original game because of okay, let's try him. Um there's no incentive to go back and do that because you're going to be getting level 42 gear instead of level 50 gear. Like seriously, you don't have to change. Like you should probably do something about the weird downscaling that's absolutely broken as hell. But when you go back and do world tier stuff, it should drop loot that goes by the highest level you're able to receive in expeditions. So like if you go into expeditions and get to CT15, which means you can get a level 50 loot there, when you go back and do world tier stuff or storyline stuff, if you're on world tier 15, it should just go ahead and drop level 50 gear, so you just incentivize to enjoy parts of the game again. It's like you're trying to prevent people from playing some of the game. Uh, I don't understand the people that rush through the game and just skip a lot of it because it really does have some enjoyable stuff in there, uh, except for some of the cutscenes. Like, if we could just get away to grab the posters and go without having to watch the stupid cutscene and get stuck, that would be great. Um, Same with walking up and kneeling next to monsters' bones. Man, just like give us some way to just skip that, because it's after about the 100th time, it just gets a little annoying. I still, while there were improvements made, think that there are some small issues with the way the currencies are being handled in the game. It's just a minor complaint, really. Um, Changing gear. Um, Give us a way to unlock the mod that gets locked. Like, I don't know how many times I just ditched a piece of gear because, well, that mod's permanently locked there and I just want to do something else. It just gets old. It gets old, especially as long as it can sometimes take to get a piece of gear to drop with the stats you want and whatnot. And that would at least incentivize people not to engage in oh hey, I didn't get the mod I want in the 3 offers when I was upgrading my gear, so I'm just gonna quit out of the game and come back. It's the amount of the amount of the amount of exploits people are using in this game is staggering. Speaking of which, the people doing so-called world record speed runs that are using a specific weapon that other people who just start playing the game can't even get. What's up with that? Why are those speed runs not being tossed out? Like, they should be. You shouldn't be able to use something that other people can't obtain when setting a record. But that's just me. You guys probably aren't even associated with whatever that is, or the people that are tracking those, or whatnot. I just find it really silly and amusing, and it kind of puts a bad light on the game. Like, honestly, you should probably just go through and like make all of the What is that? Is it Renegades? I don't even remember what the hell the name of that stuff is. You should just go through and just make everything in this gear, the Renegade stuff, all of this stuff, max stat. Just go through and make it all max stat. Even if you change the variants on it, just make it all max stat, and then ain't nobody got to worry about nothing. Everybody will have access to the same gear. It's not like people can't afford, what, $6 for a freaking pack of some guns. Okay, it's great. Fix the problem by removing the problem. Really? That's probably legit the fastest way to do it. More storage. Just straight up. More storage. We need more storage. Yesterday I was at 100 of 100. Now I kind of wonder what's missing. I've had gear go missing, by the way. It has happened. Let's go ahead and double check. Double check real quick. Maybe we get a chance to show you how that bug gets. Hey, look. See? Good old number 8 is now locked. And I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that this character, Houdini, played the prologue. I did it on stream. I literally did it on stream. I did it during the huge inventory wipes that were going on, and specifically named him Houdini and joked about making things disappear. So now it's locked. I also know for a fact that this character has gotten all of those journal pages, and I would not be shocked if we went and did some traveling if I couldn't hit an area where it says that all those pages weren't picked up. And the worst part about it is, you know, those pages have been picked up because if you go to, was it progression? I think it was progression. There's literally one in here for picking up all 339. Is it 339? Conquer. There is one. I forget what the heck the name of it was. Well read. Is it? It's well read. Where is it? Ah, here it is. Well read. 339 pages. Do you have any idea how hard it is to get all 339 pages, considering one's hidden in an area that if you skip the prologue, you kind of can't get credit for, and you kind of have to get all 339 of them without them ever resetting, and they reset all the time. So, like, currently, I managed to get that, but I can tell you right now that I could play tonight, and eventually, I could go through a zone and wind up with it saying I'm missing one of those pages. The page will never show up in that zone that it says I'm missing, but you get my point. And if that one actually resets, I'll be aggravated. But the fact that I cannot trigger this, I literally cannot trigger this. I've showed you that it should be triggered, but I can't trigger it. It's broken on my game. It's a complete. The fact that I can't trigger that makes me not want to attempt to re-trigger this one, because this one was completely done at 1.2, and so I lost the one off that. Well, I mean, what's the point if I can't complete it? Is there a point? Probably not. And like I said, the drop rates, 700 and some odd hours. and I'm missing one gun. So the drop rates are just not great. Technically, you got to look at it this way. The way the mod systems work, you got to find 2 of every item anyway, because you got to have 1 to use, hopefully, if you intend to use it, and 1 to break down for the mod. Some items you're never going to use, and you can just break them down for the mod. But that's basically why I have not been able to finish this yet. It's because I've got things that keep resetting, and I'm still looking for armor drops. Plenty of armor drops, and 1 gun that I can't get it to drop. I can't get it. It doesn't matter how long or how much I play, I can't get it to drop. All things considered, the drop rates are pretty bad considering the way you did. The stats, because you could technically have a gun drop 30 times and every single one of them be an upgrade. Might just be by 0.1, but it'd still be an upgrade. So there's no real reason not to kick the drops up. It just doesn't make sense. And again, the amount of variation you can have in those stats is way larger than it needs to be. You should fix that. Do something about the Renegade stuff. Give it max stats on all of it, and let everybody enjoy it. Definitely fix the accolades. Like, this really bothers me. I am a completionist at heart, and it just destroys me that I've had things reset on here and can't trigger it now. I literally can't trigger it now. Nothing I do will trigger this damn thing, and I've shown you that I've done it. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous that I'm not going to give you guys, even though I really think that the drop rates are bad, I'm not going to give you guys a hard time over missing a gun. But I'd like to see that fixed too. In fact, speaking of linked and stuff of that nature, mod unlocks. Right here. Let's talk mod unlocks. Just save us the time of trying to... Just save us some time. Like, really. Honestly. I don't want to go grab... First, I want 8 characters. 2, I don't want to go grab 5 guns with 6 characters, slap a mod on them guns, put it in my stash, log into all the other characters, deconstruct the gun to get the mod. I'm the same player. Let's just suspend disbelief for a moment so that we can say that I'm the same character regardless of whether I'm a pyro or not, and share our mod unlocks. Why? Why would you want to make everyone have to unlock every single mod 4 times? I want 2 more characters. That's 8 times. Why would you do that? That's horror. That's as bad as the cannonball stuff. Like seriously, there aren't enough brass monkeys in the world to store all the damn cannonballs that this game throws at you. I kind of feel like you're trolling me, man. You're trying to sink my ship every time I get a piece of cannonball gear. Is that what you're doing? Is it a troll? I feel like it's a troll. It's almost as bad as seeing a headpiece drop and then realize that it's what. Oh, it's infuriating. Even the name of it is infuriating to see this bad boy drop. Well, it's explosive temper. Of course, I've got an explosive temper. You don't drop that garbage on me. What are you guys thinking? Hey, if you guys could put out a video, somebody running solo CT-15s in full cannonball gear on a character class, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see that. I mean, you guys designed the game. Like, it's legendary. Prove it. Alright. Moving on. The best gear setups in the game aren't even legendary. The best gear setups in the game is farming stupid amounts of hours to get purple gear with, well, depending on your class, depends on which 3 stats you're going to get. And then most people exploit by just re-rolling the gear until they get a choice of 3 mods with the one that they want, so that they can get the 2 mods they want on the gear. Just give us a way to unlock that. Charge us some freaking drop pod resources or something. Give us a way to unlock it. It's let's stop being restrictive. Let's just go with the fact that some things are going to be really powerful, and just call it good. This brings up nerfing. I know people were upset when you guys nerfed that first time around. I don't mind nerfs really myself. I like a challenge, but I will say they weren't wrong. Some of them didn't make sense. The change that you made, like I'm on my Trickster now, so the changes that you made to Trickster, I'll point it out again. The twisted rounds, increasing the time on that only hurts the newer players. The players further along in the game aren't as affected by that. Technomancers, blighted rounds, the cooldown on that is so ridiculously long. The reason I'm going to say that is because there are issues currently with maintaining it. Now, I know you can do a build concept where you lower twisted rounds cooldown. Not twisted. Blighted rounds. I know that you can get blighted rounds down to about a 30-second cooldown. I know you can do a build concept around that to where you're going into your tree and getting the buffs from activating twisted rounds, and then you're specifically trying to get rid of twisted rounds in that 30 seconds so you can activate it again. That's a good concept. I know it's possible to do. I tinkered with that concept. But if you're using one where you want to maintain it and you go into group play, there are so many issues with desync and other issues in the game. There is almost no way you can maintain blighted rounds, sometimes even twisted rounds, or the pyro version of it is actually somewhat easier to maintain, and I'll get to that in a minute. Unless you're the host, because of desync issues. There are other issues that happen with desync issues. Man, I don't want to come out and say this should not have. I really hate to pull the peer-to-peer card, because so many things can be done well on peer-to-peer. But there are some issues with this game that are specifically being caused by the peer-to-peer issues. They are peer-to-peer issues. You probably should have ponied up for actual servers. Really. Which brings me to, what were some of the other things that I wanted to bring up? I'm really bad about not writing stuff down and just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. Some of the balances that you guys made, class-wise. When you did the vulnerability nerf, classes were a lot closer together before you did that nerf, and I play all four, so it's not like I'm picking on any particular class. But when you did those, it actually elevated the Technomancer slightly, when what I think what you were trying to do was bring it back down in line. And the other changes you made kind of, from a balance perspective, the Technomancer was here. The Trickster was maybe here, and then the Pyromancer was right next to it. And when you made those changes, you kind of elevated the Technomancer, lowered the Trickster a little bit, and the Pyromancer stayed roughly the same. But you increased the gap with your balance changes. And I'm still going to be the first person to come out and say that while, man, I just ain't feeling great. Haven't been for a while. I'm still going to come out and say that while there's plenty of really good builds that you could do as a Devastator, Devastators should have had an anomaly round option, just like all the other classes. As an option, I'm really kind of a fan of AP builds myself, instead of firepower builds, but that's a minor gripe. Another thing, armor. Let's go to inventory. Why? Let's pull up the stats real quick. Alright. So let's go down this real fast. We should probably have a better way to... Well, let's skip that. That's not really important. That's not a game breaking or major thing. But let's go ahead and talk about armor and resistance. Gear needs to have some amount, even if it's small, of built-in resistance in this game. Even if it's only 10%, gear should have some built-in resistance in this game. It's that important of a stat. Number two, when you get into the mods that give defensive buffs, you really need to, one, like the Golem mod, people had to hunt to find out what the actual buffs were from the Golem mod. But you need to make some of them, a little more accurate about saying exactly what they're doing. There's a couple of the mods that aren't great concepts, because they like Diffuse could have been a really good mod if it stayed activated for about 5 seconds after you stop moving. Maybe. Um, it's horrible that I can't remember the names of all the mods. We really could use some better resistance type mods, or just stick some resistance on some of the defensive mods, uh, like mitigation from death. Give it some resistance value, maybe a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot. You know, if it's gonna stack, give it like 5% and let it stack like the rest of it. There you go. That's at least a little bit of resistance. Oh, the mod that has the same graphic as Crit Stack. What is that? I might not have that unlocked. Well, no, I probably got that unlocked on all of my characters at this point. I'd be shocked if I don't. Damage absorber. You could probably bump the resistance on damage absorber up to 20%. I wouldn't mind seeing a tier 3 damage absorber either. So, I mean, you could actually add just like a tier 3 damage absorber that bumped it up to like 25% and maybe a little bit more armor or something. There's not enough resistance options in the game, and you have to realize if you're going to use a defensive stat, it should be good because you're giving up damage for it, and giving up damage in this game is horrible. I'd almost kind of like to see a utility slot put into legendary gear that specifically would only allow you to put in kind of utility, defense utility kind of things. Like on boots, you could put something like the Phantom. What, man, I don't remember what it looks like. Is it this? Phantom Dash. Would allow you to put something like Phantom Dash in there, just so instead of doing rolls, you could Phantom Dash. That would give legendary items maybe a little bit more value if you could have an extra slot for a mod of that nature. In the trees, the skill trees, I still stand behind. I mean, I'd love to see 10. I'd love to see 10, but at bare minimum, we should probably have at least 5 more skill points to branch into these trees. There's so many good, great looking builds that are 5 points shy of being able to do them, that it's like, if only I had these 5 more points, you know, I could get that resistance piercing. If only I had these 5 more points, you know, I could get that anomaly enhancement. If only I had these 5 more points, I could get some actual armor. And it's soul crushing sometimes. It's just a little bit. It's a little bit restrictive with the amount of points that we've got. I mean, and it's not like you're making hard choices because there aren't a super. I mean, you could do a lot of different builds, but when it gets right down to it, because of the way the game is designed, everybody always winds up doing just a cookie cutter, full damage, maybe 1 defensive mod build. Whether that be firepower, AP, doesn't matter. It becomes cookie cutters. They're basically cookie cutter builds. Common sense builds, really. I mean, if you read through the stats and whatnot. you could probably sit down 100 people and 80 people would come up with the same build for a Technomancer. Some people probably some people might have a small variation in there and think that that makes it different, but it's not. It's basically the exact same build, and you made one small variation. So I mean, the game still has tons and tons and tons of potential, but those are just a few of the things that I'd like to see addressed at some point. That's basically it. I'm really looking forward to see what you guys are doing with this damage mitigation nerf. I'd like to be able to say that I've never been one-shotted. Occasionally, I've had times where I've watched and actually seen that I was just multi-hit, but I have actually also seen a couple times where I've been one-shotted. And then yesterday I had an alpha hit me with 3 freaking attacks in just a split second, and there was absolutely nothing I could do. The first one, of course, you know, made it to where I couldn't move, and then the other 2 just went off instantly, and it was just like chunk, gone. But yeah, you know, just there's fixing some of the things that are broken. Like I don't understand why some of the set bonuses don't work. Or in the case of like the Borealis set bonus, sometimes it actually subtracts from your damage. I don't understand why. Like, can I do it on this character too? I don't know if I can. I might be able to. What is that? Level 37? Do I have a 37 up here? Yes, I do. All right. So let's see if it works on this one. Oh, look. There, like, why? I mean, I understand the ones that are changing when literally I have something that changes that stat. Like, the firepowers aren't the same on those, but there goes my health again. Like, it just can't decide what it wants to do. Like, it's crazy. I've had times where I've taken off all my gear, put all my gear back on, and my stats change. And I'll take off all my gear, put all my gear back on, and my stats are not the same as what they just were. And it's like there's somewhere where the math is just getting broken, where it's just not doing what you would think it would do. Wow, I'm getting like mouse lag. Probably been doing this video for too long. All right. Anyway, that was it. Just some quick stuff. I'd like to see kind of improvements with some of those things. There are some things that need to be adjusted in some of the classes, and I know people don't like nerfs, but you know, there are some things that kind of need to be addressed. But I'd also like to see the things that are broken fixed. You know, I'd like to see 3-piece bonuses actually work. Why isn't there a 5-piece bonus? Try and give somebody some incentive to use 2 pieces that have max health on them for some silly reason. I mean, maybe if the bonus is actually worth it, you might actually invest in 2 pieces that had max health as a stat. Speaking of max health, if you go into your trees and you pick up max health, like a 10% max health node in your tree, those actually do more for you than max health on your gear, because it scales absolutely horribly. Test it out yourself. It's horrible. Like, you can max that stat on a piece of max health gear and gain next to nothing. Go into your tree and just spend 1 point and get that max health at 10% and gain way more. So it just doesn't make sense. Anyway, those are some of the things I'd like to see fixed. Especially the accolades resetting or getting broken. Like in my case, I can't even complete the one at all now, and the other one reset. And I mean, I can't force that one weapon to drop, so it'll probably be a while before I get that last weapon drop anyway, because it feels like the weapons aren't feels like they're weighted in a way, because I do notice that I get far more of certain weapons than I do of other weapons. Anyway, hope you all having a good one. Stay safe. That's my short video, just saying that please fix it. Please, please, I am begging you. It's such a good game at its core, and it has such potential. Just fix it. Take the time and actually invest some manpower to make it right. Not trying to be negative at all. If anything, I'm only doing it because I actually love the game and want it to succeed. I don't be another Anthem, please. Don't come up with something that's got a whole lot of potential and just squander it. Alright. That's it. Again, have a good one. Stay safe. I'm out of here.